This is John Medina coming to you from Seattle, Washington. Good morning to everyone. Let's just give people a moment to jump on the call here. And as you can see, we're out and about. So we are out and about. So sorry in advance for the noise. But so today I want to talk a little bit about the millennials. But first, before that, I'd like for some special people here with me to say hello. So,
hi from the Philippines. This is Dr. Rio and my children here. Hello.
Hi.
All millennials.
So we're hanging out with millennials. Hey, good morning, everybody. All right. So I'm hanging out with millennials. So perfect time to talk about millennials and singular. And the reason, we love to focus on the millennials is because the millennials are the next generation. So we have Dr. Rio here and her children. And they just said hi from Seattle, Washington. So they're here with us for a couple of days. And so we're so happy to have them. They just came from Sundance and got the chance to attend the event there. And they're so happy and so excited. And, if we're talking about millennials, probably my generation is a little bit different. But I also grew up with two millennials as well, which is my brother and my sister. And so I have an idea about millennials. And I think one of the big things that millennials are into these days is what they call experience. So, what does that mean, experience? Well, millennials like to focus on, having different experiences. What are those experiences? Well, those experiences would be things like travel, right? Would be, things like going out, right? Travel is probably one of the biggest ones. But, just going out and just being able to, in a sense, spend money to have an experience, okay? So if we're talking to millennials, right? Some millennials, and I don't know about how it is in the Philippines, we have to kind of adjust it for the culture. But, if I'm talking to a millennial here in the US, then what I would be focused on is talking to them about experience, right? So, there's some millennials out there who, are kind of like my generation and the generation before, where they love to have money, right? Or money is kind of like a symbol of, or a reward, right, of your hard work and your hard efforts, right? At least here in the US, millennials aren't as much geared to that as they are just having an experience, right? So if I'm talking to a millennial and, we're talking and having a conversation, I might talk to them about things like traveling, right? Free travel, right? Or how about having the money to travel, right? How about having the money to, do what you always wanted? You might talk about things like their bucket list, which means things that they want to do in life, right? So they might want to do something in life, like see the Taj Mahal in India, right? Go to the, rice terraces in Banaue, right? Or see Washington, D.C., right? The capital in Washington, D.C., right? And so talking to millennials, I would focus more on this rather than, you can be a millionaire, right? Some millennials would love that. Some millennials would love to be millionaires, right? But their focus tends to be more upon like, what can I do to have an experience in my life, right? So like we have brother Artie here, he's a millennial, right? He's having all these experiences, and I got the chance to talk with him. And I was amazed, really, because he's like, it's like he has it's like he's the president almost, right? He has all these places that he's going to, in the US, right? Traveling to the US, this state, that state, they're only here for a couple of days, right? But then they're off to another state, and then he's off to another state, right? In another city, right? And see, so that's what I'm talking about. It's about the experiences, right? So if we want to approach millennials, think about how we can talk to them about having an experience, right? It's not necessarily about the money, but of course, we can bring in the money, bring in the opportunity by, saying, hey, money is a necessity, right? If you had all the money in the world, then where would you travel to, right? What places would you travel to? How long would you travel there, right? And so that's how you can connect the business opportunity and the experience together, is by talking about the experience, focusing on the experience, focusing make them think about the future, right? Put an image in their head, plant an image in their head, if you could travel anywhere in the world, right? What's the number one thing you've always wanted to do if money was no object, right? And of course, we can use these with other generations too, like my generation, Generation X. We can use this with previous generations, right? But it works really well with millennials because they're always looking for that experience, right? So, some people, they might be like, I want to own, some diamond earrings, right? They don't think about it in terms of money. Like, they don't think, oh, I need I want $50,000 so I can buy some earrings. They think about it like, I want to own some earrings. That's the experience for them. And they say, okay, you want to own some earrings, right? Well, how much would those earrings cost, right? And so they'd say like, oh, I don't know, $25,000 each, Be like, okay, $25,000. Well, then you can introduce the business opportunity, talking about, okay, well, you want $25,000, right? How do you think you could get that? What's your plan, right? You can always ask people, what's your plan to do that, right? And usually a lot of people don't have a plan. They just say, well, I'm just going to work and then I'm going to do this, right? I'm just going to work, save up the money, and then buy it, right? Which is kind of a general plan. But then you can come in, right? And you can start talking to people about the plan. You can start helping people develop a plan. And so at the same time, you're giving them value, right? You're giving them some value, something to help them, right? And even if they don't join Singular, right, they'll be so happy, right? They'll trust you more. They'll like you more because you gave them something of value, right? You gave them a plan, like a more specific plan, right? So, and I could go through different scenarios, but I don't want to do that today. Just want to keep it kind of short. And so I think that's probably the best way to approach millennials these days. I mean, if you think about it, right, like this generation in the Philippines, more and more people are moving into the city, right? They're moving into the bigger cities like Manila, Makati, right? And out of the provinces, right? And so part of the reason for that is because of family, right? So you can talk about the family, right? And, how they can help support their family or how they can invest in their family and help their family to build up something so that their family doesn't have to rely upon them, right? And then they can go and have the experiences that they always wanted, something like that. It kind of depends on, where you're at in the world, but you just have to tune the message a little bit. But the overall general message is that experience, right? You want to put people's minds into that experience. Let them experience, like, how would it feel if you had those 2 diamond earrings, in your ears, right? Like, how would that feel to you? Think about, would you feel good, right? Would you feel amazing? Would you feel accomplished, right? Just things like that. And, focusing on things like what it would be like to have those things, what it would be like to do those things, right? That's the experience side that we can focus on, okay? And so hopefully those 2 tips or those tips would be helpful for you in talking to more millennials in the Philippines, because, the millennials are the next generation, right? And so we want the next generation to be equipped, right? Because, having this opportunity, right, we're not going to be able to, do the work forever. There's going to be a time when we want to stop doing the work, but the money still comes in, right? And that's by having good people, good solid leadership that's younger, right? That would be willing to take those reins, right? And, you know, for me, I would want all my downline to surpass me. Because what does that do? Well, if all my downlines surpass me, then I have security, right? If I have the security, then it's like, okay, well, I don't have to do the work, but hey, they're making tons of money, you know, whatever they want to do, right? They're making more money than I am, but I'm secure, right? And so I don't have to be involved in, you know, day-to-day talking to people, you know, doing three-way calls, you know, doing Zoom meetings and that sort of thing, okay? So that's a real good reason to have millennials, you know, kind of to get our shift to focus on the millennials so that we can start to take that break earlier and earlier, right? And so I want to say, because this is June, and so this is Father's Day coming up, I think, is it this next Sunday, next week, right? So I just want to take the time to give a big shout out to all the fathers and say thank you, fathers. You know, fathers are leaders in the household, and continue to lead, right? Continue to lead and continue to guide your family, right? One of the best ways we can do that, of course, the best way is always the spiritual side, right? God, right? Jesus, Holy Spirit. But it's not just that, right? We have to be able to lead them in new ways, right? Into the ways that fit their generation, right? And their generation is all about now, like, you know, computers, right? And gadgets, right? And high tech and all of these things. So we have to be able to lead in that way. So one of the things is, you know, start, if you don't already do it, right? Start learning a little bit more about, you know, computers and things like that. So you can, you know, raise up your children and the family, you know, kind of into the next generation, right? Because computers are going to be a big thing, not just in the world, not just in the regular job market, but computers are going to be a big thing in Singular. I was going to say multi-level marketing, direct sales, but specifically Singular. And, you know, I tell the story about how, you know, when my wife was first pregnant with our first son, right? I tell the story about how I had to, you know, I came back to the U.S., found the news, had to pack up my bags and move back to the UK, right, to support her, right? And one of the reasons that I did so well in Singular is because I utilized the power of the internet to be able to reach people. And utilizing the power of the internet, you know, that was a blessing to me, right? And my Singular business, you know? And so, fathers, I just want to encourage you also to, you know, be able to teach your kids not just, you know, regular kind of employment, but teach them to be entrepreneurially minded. Teach them to be business minded as well, you know, and that will serve them a long way. It's still on? Okay. It paused for a moment. I think I'm still on. Okay. So, and that will, you know, that will really help them to broaden their horizons, because there's so here. Yeah. Sorry, guys, the signal is a little bit bad here. I'm coming from my cell phone. But just what I really wanted to say, the last thing I want to say is that when, you know, there's so many people from millennials who have become millionaires basically overnight, even billionaires overnight. And that is because they were entrepreneurially minded. They were willing to take smart risks, and they were willing to learn more about what it takes to give something of value to people, okay? And so our main priority should always be to give value to people's lives, give value to people's health, give value to people's financial situations, right? Give value to people personally, right? And if we do that, then we'll see our business just grow and grow and grow like no other. And we teach our people to do that as well, to give people, you know, teach our people to give value to other people, right? Whether those people join Singular or not, doesn't matter, right? But just learning to share that value, to give value, you know, your talents, right? Your perspectives, right? Your unique perspectives, giving those things to people, right? It's a blessing. It's a way to bless people, and you receive the blessings in return, right? So Okay, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you again. The power of the internet. I see that. Let me say a shout out to everybody here. Miss Beth, Miss Julia, Dr. Rio. Let's see. Yeah. Dr. Lynn. And let's see. My parents, Joe and Josie Medina. All right. I see my business partner there, Miss Angie Baldovino, and Miss Bethanyana. And thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you later.